On December 6, 2007, the New York Times published this bombshell report saying that the CIA had destroyed videotapes. Videotapes the agency had made of interrogations. And you know what kind of interrogations I mean. It was the so-called harsh interrogations, where the CIA subjected prisoners to waterboarding and other forms of torture. It was later reported that the destruction of those videotapes was contrary to the wishes of both the Bush White House at the time, in 2005, and also the Director of National Intelligence. But the CIA made the decision on their own. They made the decision to destroy those tapes on the advice of their own internal lawyers, never mind what anybody else wants them to do. Now, Congress, which is supposed to be overseeing the CIA, was horrified by this revelation. The director of the CIA came up to the Hill to brief the Intelligence Committee after this revelation in the New York Times, exposing what the CIA had done to destroy these tapes. He told the Congress, essentially, don't worry about us destroying those videotapes. Those tapes didn't really mean anything. They didn't show anything important. He told Congress that the CIA had taken detailed written notes of everything they did in those interrogation rooms, and that those notes would be handed over to Congress now, all that written information, and that should satisfy their needs. Well, the Intelligence Committee did send some of its staffers to go read those written reports from the CIA, and what they found in those written reports apparently upset them significantly. Members of the Intelligence Committee were briefed on a lot of things that the CIA had done, but apparently they were not briefed on this stuff. According to the chair of the Intelligence Committee now, Dianne Feinstein, what Senate staffers found in those reports, quote, was chilling. The interrogations and the conditions of confinement at the CIA detention sites were far different and far more harsh than the way the CIA had described them to us. Us meaning the Intelligence Committee, which is supposed to be overseeing the CIA. As a result of what they found and what they were so disturbed by in those written reports, the Intelligence Committee voted that they would do a complete review of this issue. They'd do a complete review of the CIA's secret prisons and CIA interrogations in those prisons. And you know what? The CIA is obliged to go along with that. They are not allowed to act unilaterally. They are overseen by Congress. And so when Congress authorizes and votes for an investigation and asks the CIA for documents, the CIA really is supposed to turn those documents over. And the CIA did turn over millions of documents, sort of. What they did was they set up some sort of secure location somewhere in Northern Virginia where they would allow members of the committee and staffers from the committee to come to that off-site facility managed by the CIA, and there at that facility they could review those millions of pages of documents. They couldn't take them themselves to the Senate. They had to do it where the CIA could keep an eye on them. What could possibly go wrong? Within a few months of having set up that arrangement with the CIA and starting to review those millions of pages of documents, the Intelligence Committee and its staffers realized that something was wrong. That documents they had seen were disappearing. The CIA was taking some stuff back, even after they had given it to the committee in the first place. They appeared to be going through the staffers, going through the computers that the Senate staffers were supposedly using to oversee the CIA, and they were removing documents from those computers.
In May of 2010, the committee staff noticed that the documents had been provided for the committee's review were no longer accessible. Staff approached the CIA personnel at the off-site location, who initially denied the documents had been removed. CIA personnel then blamed information technology personnel, who were almost all contractors, for removing the documents themselves without direction or authority. And then the CIA stated that the removal of the documents was ordered by the White House. When the committee approached the White House denied giving the CIA any such order. After a series of meetings, I learned that on 2 occasions, CIA personnel electronically removed committee access to CIA documents.
So the Senate is trying to oversee the CIA. It's their constitutional responsibility. They're trying to investigate something the CIA has done. The CIA is messing with the investigation. They took away documents that the Senate was looking at. They went into the Senate's computers and said, we're taking that. That ended up being really important, and it led to 2 things. First of all, it led to public allegations, bombshell allegations, that the CIA was, in effect, spying on Congress, that they were using their spy tactics, the things they're empowered to do as a clandestine agency. Now, they're using those tactics against the United States Congress, against the part of the U.S. government that is supposed to oversee them. So that's the first consequence of the CIA getting caught taking those documents off the Senate computers. The second consequence, though, was more spy versus spy style. Because the second consequence of the CIA getting caught messing with the Senate in that way is that Senate staffers decided, in response, effectively, to take matters into their own hands. Now, remember, this whole thing started with that revelation in the New York Times that the CIA had destroyed evidence about themselves, right? They had destroyed those videotapes of them, effectively, torturing prisoners. Years later, with the Senate trying to investigate that, the CIA was again trying to get rid of evidence, trying to remove documents from the view of the investigation. And there was one particular document that the Senate investigation turned up, an internal CIA document, that they apparently believed undercut a lot of the CIA's denials, and that they knew the CIA wished that the Senate hadn't had access to. Senate staffers, knowing that, took that document. They took it physically out of that secure location in Northern Virginia, and they apparently took it here to the Hart Senate Office Building in Washington, D.C., one of the secure facilities in that building that's designed to handle secret intelligence information. And apparently, inside that building, they then locked it up in a safe.
The CIA has previously withheld and destroyed information about its detention and interrogation program, including its decision in 2005 to destroy interrogation videotapes over the objections of the Bush White House and the Director of National Intelligence. Based on the above, there was a need to preserve and protect the internal Panetta review in the committee's own secure spaces.
To preserve and protect it, we needed to take it away from the CIA and keep it ourselves. So theoretically, as a constitutional republic, we are supposed to have a spy agency that does all sorts of clandestine stuff that is kept secret from the public by necessity. But everything they do is supposed to be briefed to the Intelligence Committee in Congress. Congress is supposed to know everything that they do. And they're supposed to effectively set bounds by policy for what the CIA can and cannot do. On paper, that's how it works. Now we know that in real life, these two sides, the supposed overseers and the agency they oversee, they're stealing documents from one another. The Senate is hiding stuff in their safes in their own office building in order to keep the CIA from destroying stuff that they think the CIA will destroy unless the Senate steals it from them. This is nuts. But then it gets even more nuts, because once the CIA figures out that they're dealing with these death of the republic style allegations, that our own spy service has turned on our own government, that the CIA is spying on Congress, once they learn that Congress, in response, has moved CIA documents onto Capitol Hill in order to keep the CIA from destroying them and hiding them from Congress, then the CIA decides to strike back. Oh, yeah, you said we're doing something illegal? No, you're doing something illegal. The CIA decided that they would refer those Senate staffers for prosecution. They would refer them for criminal prosecution for moving those documents into that safe on Capitol Hill. And that is where everything went completely off the hook today, when the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, who has been very pro-CIA all along, when Dianne Feinstein, no liberal on these matters, got up this morning on the Senate floor and made a totally remarkable, possibly unprecedented 40-minute speech where she flat out accused the CIA of doing things in those interrogations that they never admitted to Congress. She accused them of committing crimes to cover it up. She accused them of spying illegally on Congress. And listen to what she said about the CIA's counter threat that the CIA was going to go after the staffers of the committee that is making these allegations against them. Watch this.
Weeks later, I was also told the acting counsel general of the CIA filed a crimes report with the Department of Justice concerning the committee staff's actions. I view the acting consul general's referral as a potential effort to intimidate this staff, and I am not taking it lightly. I should note that for most, if not all, of the CIA's detention and interrogation program, The now acting general counsel was a lawyer in the CIA's Counterterrorism Center, the unit within which the CIA managed and carried out this program. From mid-2004 until the official termination of the detention and interrogation program in January 2009, he was the unit's chief lawyer. He is mentioned by name more than 1,600 times in our study. And now this individual is sending a crimes report to the Department of Justice on the actions of congressional staff. The same congressional staff who researched and drafted a report that details how CIA officers, including the acting general counsel himself, provided inaccurate information to the Department of Justice about the program.
Dianne Feinstein got up on the floor of the Senate today and alleged that one of the CIA staffers, who she says not only effectively took part in the torture program, but lied to the Department of Justice about it, is now the person at the CIA who is threatening to prosecute members of the Senate staff who are about to expose what he did. The acting general counsel of the CIA is not one of those positions that they post the guy's name on the website. We are not necessarily allowed to know who that is at the CIA. And Senator Dianne Feinstein did not say his name today, but the New York Times reports tonight that it is likely to be this person, who is officially the chief deputy general counsel of the CIA, which means he would be the number 2 in that office. The reasoning goes that the number 1 job in that office has been vacant since last fall, so it would make sense that this number 2 guy would be acting general counsel until somebody new could be confirmed to lead the office. If it is him, if that is who she is talking about, he reportedly signed off internally at the CIA in 2005 when the agency decided to destroy those videotapes of those torture sessions. I mean, interrogations. Same guy. Our country must sometimes act in secret, or at least arguably our country must sometimes act in secret. We must have, for example, a spy service to spy. But the only way we can have secret government and still remain a democracy is if there is some part of our government that is allowed to oversee what the secret agencies do. If those agencies use their clandestine tactics against the government, that's the sort of thing that's an instant forfeit. That's the kind of thing that undermines the whole justification for any part of our government to have any kind of power of secret action. What Dianne Feinstein alleged on the floor of the Senate today is a huge, Constitution-sized big deal for our country.